2. How we doing, family? It's your boy, Yo, and this is another episode of YoHoops. I go through every NBA game every day. Today's Monday, March 23rd, and we have a 10-game NBA card. I'm going to walk you through my thoughts and let you know what sides I like, so please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your favorite game in the comment section below. Without further ado, let me get into today's games. Recap yesterday. Decent way to end the week. I went 3-2 on the 5-game card. It could have been a better day if Devin Booker got one more point, but the Suns ended up blowing out the Raptors, so he ended the game with 25. I'm now 84-81 on every game played in March. We've got a tougher card today, but I'll do my best to stack some wins. In our first matchup of the evening, we have the Indiana Pacers in Orlando taking on the Orlando Magic. Magic are minus 800 on the money line, and the total is 232.5. I mentioned this is a tougher card. Perfect example right here. You guys know I don't trust the Magic without Franz Wagner, but 70% of the Pacers team is listed as questionable, so I really have no idea what I'll get. I can take a guess considering they're now the worst team in the league with a record of 15-56. I'm more than likely staying away from this game altogether, but I see today's card playing out where a lot of the underdogs play spoiler. We've seen a lot of the favorites getting dominant wins recently, but this line is set to where even if the Magic let their feet off the gas late, they can end up winning it by 12. I'm gonna lean to the Pacers plus a 12.5 as my first selection of the evening. In our next matchup, we have the Los Angeles Lakers in Detroit taking on the Detroit Pistons. Lakers are minus 135 on the money line, and the total is 226. Honestly, I expect the Lakers to fall back down to earth at some point, but tonight is not the spot I'm trying to fade them. Cade Cunningham's out for at least 2 weeks, so you're really asking if Duncan Robinson and Tobias Harris can get me a win over Luka Doncic and LeBron James. Even at 41 years old, I'm gonna say the answer is no. The Pistons do have the deeper team, so I expect a scrappy game like we saw against the Magic on Saturday, but ultimately, the Lakers should get it done. I'm taking the Lake Show on the money line as my next selection of the evening. Up next, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder in Philadelphia taking on the Philadelphia 76ers. Thunder minus 1,200 on the money line, and the total is 225.5. The Thunder are blowing these boys out, guaranteed. They come into it at full strength, while Philly is still without Embiid, Maxey, and Oubre. Their second unit has shown up in spots, but this is a tall order against the defending champs. We're starting to see teams lock into that playoff mode, and tonight, the Sixers really don't have an answer. I'm taking the Thunder lane to 16 as my next selection of the evening. Up next, we have the San Antonio Spurs in Miami taking on Miami Heat. Spurs are minus 185 on the money line, and the total is 243. Both teams come into this one with a few significant injuries, so let me walk you guys through the IR. The Spurs have Stephon Castle and Devin Vassell listed as questionable, then the Heat have Norman Powell listed as questionable, and Andrew Wiggins listed as probable. It's tough because I see even levels of talent, but I can't overlook the fact that we're in Miami. The Heat are currently 21-15 against the spread at home. We've seen them win games even with their main guys out, opposed to the Spurs, who usually rely on Stephon Castle to facilitate. I'm not going to say it's a huge edge, but I am leaning towards Miami. Give me the Heat plus the 4.5 as my next selection of the evening. Up next, we have the Memphis Grizzlies in Atlanta taking on the Atlanta Hawks. Hawks are minus 1,000 on the money line, and the total is 240.5. They've been putting bread in our pocket, so shout out to them. The Hawks are playing on another level. I mentioned early in the season that this team is full of young talent, and now they're stepping up in a big way. They're now in 6th place in the East, out of the play-in, and they've won 12 of their last 13 games. The Grizzlies have been able to compete by catching teams off guard, but tonight, I think the Hawks are looking to kick somebody's ass. A majority of their recent wins have been by margin. They're so used to getting beat up that now they're showing no mercy. I'm taking the Hawks lane to 14 as my next selection of the evening. In our next matchup, we have the Houston Rockets in Chicago taking on Chicago Bulls. Rockets are minus 350 on the money line, and the total is 230.5. The last time we saw the Bulls in action was on Thursday of last week, and they came through for us in a huge way against the Cavs, covered the spread, and almost completed a 29-point comeback. I don't know if that was the Bulls waking up or the Cavs just falling apart, but either way, I liked what I saw from Chicago in the second half. The Rockets are coming off a couple wins against the Heat and the Hawks, but in my opinion, this is the spot they fumble. I've talked about their lack of scoring, and at this point, they're only 17 and 18 against the spread on the road. You're losing money betting with them. Despite all the injuries and trades the Bulls have made, they're currently 19 and 18 against the spread at home. We all know Houston should win this game, but for me, today's a dog day. I'm taking the Bulls plus the 8.5 as my next selection of the evening. Up next, we have the Toronto Raptors in Utah taking on Utah Jazz. Raptors are minus 750 on the money line, and the total is 231.5. The Raptors come into this one on the second leg of a back-to-back, flying from Phoenix to Utah. They went into last night's game as the favorites and really lost it by 22 points to the Suns. They were able to somewhat conserve minutes, but that doesn't make me want to lay 13 points tonight. The Jazz are banged up and damn near tanking, but the Raptors play at such a slow pace that it's going to take a defensive masterclass to win this one by 20. We've talked about the lack of ball handlers and facilitators on the floor. Like I mentioned, this is a tough card overall with a lot of these lines being efficient, but at home, I can see the Jazz losing this one by 8. I'll lean to the Jazz plus a 12.5 as my next selection of the evening. In our next matchup, we have the Golden State Warriors in Dallas taking on the Dallas Mavericks. Warriors are minus 125 on the money line, and the total is 230.5. At this point, they're just hyping the Warriors based off their name. We're not used to seeing them lose every game. At this point, the books can't even keep up. They've had moments, but are we really going to act like Brandon Podziemski and Pat Spencer are supposed to carry an offense in today's NBA? Even against the Mavs, are you telling me anyone on the Warriors' active roster is better than Cooper Flagg? I see through the hype. At this point, you just have to throw in the towel and start fading the Warriors, at least until Steph's back. I'm taking the Mavs plus a 2 as my next selection of the evening. Up next, we have the Brooklyn Nets in Portland taking on Portland Trailblazers. Blazers are minus 1100 on the money line, and the total is 218.5. The Nets come into this one on the second leg of a back-to-back, flying from Sacramento to Portland. They got the cover for us last night, so shout out to my guys, but they are shorthanded, so rest will definitely play a factor. Obviously, you guys have seen that Michael Porter Jr. is ruled out, so I definitely expect Portland to win this one. Problem is, we need them to do it by 16. It is possible, but along the lines of what I've been saying all day, I don't think the favorites are dominating. I also can't put my hard-earned money on the Nets, so rather than taking a side, I'm looking at the total. Portland's offense has been decent, but at the end of the day, they average 115 points per game. That ranks 17th. The Nets are the lowest scoring team in the league at 106, so that would set us around a 221 total. In these blowout-style games, teams typically stop trying to score late once they're up, and those last few empty possessions should keep us under this total. I'm taking the Nets and Blazers under 218.5 as my next selection of the evening. Up next, we have the Milwaukee Bucks in LA taking on LA Clippers. Clippers are minus 800 on the money line, and the total is 221.5. This one's going to follow the same theme I've been on all day. Yeah, the Clippers are dominant at home, but they're also overhyped, laying 13 points playing through injuries. Benedict Mathurin is ruled out, then Kawhi Leonard and John Collins are both listed as questionable. Obviously, I'd like to know if Kawhi plays, but either way, 14 points is a lot of lumber to lay. The Bucks look decent in that last game against the Suns. Guys like Ryan Rollins and Kyle Kuzma were stepping up in a big way. At this point, I don't think they can catch the Hornets for the 10th seed, but I can see them playing spoiler in a few games down the road. For now, I'll lean to the Bucks plus a 13 as my last and final selection. And that's going to conclude today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. We're still slightly in the money, but I need a few big days to end the month. Rock with me. I appreciate all the support so much. I do this every day for free, so please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It's your boy, Yo! And until the next one, I'm gonna catch y'all. Peace.